The man that is Tom Hannifan, the voice on the commentary desk, who's helped to modernize TNA's presentation, the voice of TNA right now, along with his partner as well, giving the promotion a big league feel with the way that you bring your sort of like sports commentary to it as well. Some of the calls you've had to make during the Josh Alexander's rise and title run. I love when you get to commentate on the Monsters Ball matches, which are normally brutal matches, but you somehow manage to explain it to us in such a way that doesn't necessarily glorify the violence. I genuinely give you a chunk of credit in getting Joe Hendry over. That was a bit of a silly sort of character, but the way you never ever took away credibility from that, and of course your partner in crime, Matt Raywald, absolutely fantastic. The two of you on there, you've really taken TNA from being Impact and then going into being TNA, getting those hallowed letters back, and then TNA going on to AMC. And it has been an absolute pleasure having you on our brand, in our home. And I just want to say all that before we get started.
I might just call it a day now and retire today. That's extremely kind of you to say, Kevin. I'm blown away that I don't know if I've ever started an interview in this capacity. So that's extremely kind of you. I was told a long time ago by other commentators that your job is to just put everybody over and make everybody look good. So if I've been doing that in the eyes of the fans and in your eyes, then I'm doing my job. So that means the world to me for you to say all that, really.
You coming in, you really have changed the game for us in a big way, and I love what you do there. But what I want to ask you first, because obviously you have worked in other promotions as well, and you're not like brand new to commentating as such. You've been doing it for a good 12 to 13 years now. What do you think you've maybe learned about yourself while being at TNA, and how has your approach to commentating evolved over these last few years?
Going to TNA, I decided I was going to take more chances. And there were things in WWE that I had to adhere to and be respectful to, and that's just the way of the world. I knew when I went to TNA that I wanted to change things and I needed to create a little bit more of a personality beyond just navigating the broadcast and trying to make it as clean and professional as possible, that I was going to be myself and I was going to take some chances. So there have been some things here and there where I'm like, I didn't love that, whatever, but at least I tried. And I tried something new, I tried something different. But the thing I'm the most proud of is that you're getting the authentic person when it comes to my commentary on TNA. And I look at AJ Styles returning to TNA for the first time in 11 years at Slammiversary. Yeah. Like, I had an idea of what I might say, and then delivering it and being emotional, my voice cracking as it was happening, and trying to stick the landing, like, it was genuine, it was very honest. And at the same time, I always try to think about how's the fan feeling that. How is the fan feeling this? How is everybody in the back that's been here for much longer than I have feeling this? And I felt like that was the emotion. I felt like the emotion was, our guy has come home. I never thought this would happen. So that was what I was trying to communicate in that moment and many other moments. So I think that's the thing I'm proud of, is I've tried to get more of my genuine human emotion across, as opposed to being robotic. And I have my polished elements to it, but things you have to deliver on. But sure, just trying to find me, I guess, along the way.
So with that, would you say, obviously you've kind of just answered it a little bit, but would you say that is like the most important thing to you on commentary? Is it storytelling, is it accuracy, or is it just making sure that you portray the emotion as such?
There's so many masters that you have to serve when you're calling a show, because like for us as play-by-play guys, the first thing you have to navigate is the traffic of the broadcast. And what I mean by that is like, hey, we're opening with a locator shot of, Nashville, Tennessee, it's No Surrender. And hey, maybe we're going to a video package and here's a sponsor. And I've got to tell you what's coming up later on tonight. Like, I have to make sure the nuts and bolts, the skeleton of the show is in good working order. I'm an extension of the production truck. And then after that, it's making sure I'm calling the match with the appropriate rhythm and flow and getting in at the right points of the matchup. And the emotion has to be there as well. So it's a very complicated job. So anybody that's ever tried pro wrestling commentary understands that. The emotion, however, I think is the thing I've honed in on over the last few years, and it's still a work in progress, is trying to get across the emotional stories that we do have here in TNA wrestling, the emotional stories that you might not know all of by tuning into the TV, and that I can maybe bring a little extra detail to. And at the end of the day, if I can get across my genuine feelings and joy that I have for pro wrestling, then it's going to relate to the viewer. And I think the thing that's true about anything in pro wrestling is that if it lacks authenticity, if it isn't genuine, if there isn't true emotion that hits home, it often doesn't connect. So hopefully what I've been doing, what Matthew Raywalt and I have been doing has been connecting, because it has been genuine.
And with that in mind, one of the things that, and it's one of the reasons I ask about the emotion. Obviously, a big moment for me happened on the last episode of TNA on AMC, and Mr. Steve Macklin is one of my guys, and yours and Matt's response to that was like, that's kind of why I've always sort of vibed with you on the desk, and it's always why I've loved you and Matt on the desk, because you do get that. You are both students of wrestling for definite. You obviously know your history, because some of the callbacks you make, you kind of sit there and you're like, oh my god, that's a deep cut. So like, I love getting all that. And then we got that moment with Steve, and obviously the feast off fire, and it went down the way it was. It's a bit of a strange question, because you did kind of mention it on the screen, but what sort of were your thoughts in that moment, and how did you feel about getting that across to us?
So while what aired was taped in advance, it was taped in real time.
Yeah.
So the results of Feast or Fired, I found out in real time.
Wow.
So I discovered with everybody else on the air that my best friend had been fired. And when I had been laid off by WWE in 2021, one of the first phone calls I got was Steve Macklin, Stephen Cooper. And he has been one of my closest friends. We're both from a similar part of the country. I'm from Philadelphia. He's from New Jersey. He's served in the United States Marine Corps. My family has a long military background. So we just had a lot of things in common. We immediately clicked, and we were down in Orlando working together at NXT, and we're grinding, and we're trying to get somewhere. And we're just always in the same boat. We're always on the same team. And we always told each other the truth, whether it was personal or professional. And that's the thing that I love about our friendship. And Steve, his wife Deanna, helped introduce me to Josh Matthews and subsequently Scott D'Amore, and helped me get the job that I have here in TNA Wrestling. So when that happened, it broke my heart. It genuinely broke my heart. I discovered it in real time. So I'm still grappling with the situation, because things just don't feel the same, and it's very, very difficult for me to process. But at the same time, still have a job to do. I felt bad because I let the broadcast slip in the moment, and I have a great co-host in Matthew Raywalt. My production team were very understanding of the entire situation, which was great. But I discovered that in real time with everybody else, so it's very difficult.
Nowhere near in the same boat. I was kind of the same as you, but at the same time, I had the luxury of being able to turn it off and be like, I'm going to come back to this.
Sometimes you just need a minute. I didn't have that luxury. Matthew Raywalt's an incredible co-host. He picked up the ball and just kept on moving. So I appreciate him very much.
Speaking about the drama king himself as well, I genuinely believe, and I've had many a conversation with friends of mine who are also fans of TNA, and this is the best commentary double act we've ever had in TNA since the likes of Don West and Mike Tenay. Like, definitely, you guys are just absolutely amazing together. And I know you kind of had a little bit of history before TNA and all that, but what is it about you guys that the rhythm, like the beats that you always hit together, just works? It's like making music, and you guys just seem to make perfect music together. What is it about you guys?
I think it's mutual respect, and there's no egos. It's what's best for the show, what's best for the character, what's best for the storyline, what's best for the segment. The thing I am just constantly so impressed by with Matthew is that he started doing commentary in WWE with me in 2019. He gets let go in 2020. He didn't do commentary for 2 years. And then I start in TNA in January of 2022. I did 2 nights of commentary with D'Lo Brown. He worked into an off-camera role. And later that month, January 2022, we were going into a show. I think it was in outside of Miami, Florida. And I asked Scott D'Amore, I'm like, well, who am I working with this weekend? And Matthew Raywall at the time, storyline wise, like wasn't involved in any storylines, wasn't necessarily working a match, but was going to be at the taping. And I was like, can I please call the show with him and see how it goes? And I had every confidence that it was going to work out. But I think people need to put that into context is that he's had 6 of the last 8 years to work on
Yeah.
commentary, and he's worked on commentary in other promotions, obviously, but being at this level of television, he's just getting started, and he's this good already
Yeah.
with 6 total years of like major live TV wrestling experience. So I'm so impressed by him, and I hope that we just continue to work together for a long time. He's my partner. There's nobody else I'd rather call the action with in TNA.
But with that in mind, he is more of the color commentator. Well, he is the the commentator,
Yes.
and he gets a lot of the zippy one-liners. Has he ever stolen a line that you wished you had have dropped in the moment?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's much quicker than I am. He is such a quick wit. It reminds me of when I worked with Corey Graves. Corey has an incredible wit. He is so quick on his feet. Ray Walt's the same way, and I know that's not my gift. There have been certain instances where I've like tried and I swing and miss. It's just not my game. It's exactly where he thrives, and because he is that smarmy elitist heel on commentary, he just delivers on so many levels. And there's certain matches where we just look at the run sheet and I'm like, oh, this is going to be 80% Raywall just having a field day, something like that. And I can't wait to just sit there and be a fan. So every once in a while, there's some lines where I'll sit there and like we'll make eye contact, like without making any noise, and I'll just be like, oh, that was good. Like he'll deliver on something, whether it's a jab at me or even just a line that's great for the show. Like he's a very intelligent guy, and he has an acting background, and he's got tons of experience in pro wrestling. He's a really sharp, well-rounded individual. So he just adds so much to the broadcast that I don't think he could be duplicated.
But don't take anything away from yourself, because, like I say, the Macklin situation, that was fantastic TV for you to watch and just to get your emotions over for us to watch. But also, when, like I mentioned earlier about going from Impact to TNA, the way you signed off the last Impact Wrestling show was like, let's not forget about, like the times before. I know a lot of people look down on that, but you made sure that as fans, we don't look down on it. We keep it in mind as we go forward. And I think moments like that is where you really shine. So don't take anything away from yourself there.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. I frame it like this. From the second I started in TNA, I loved that this company owns its scars. There's
Yeah,
good
yeah.
and there's bad. Even we did the reverse battle royal in my time here, and like everybody knew it was a clunky idea. I'll put it that way. And
Mhm.
when we went in to call it, we asked Scott at the time. I was like, "Hey, how do you want us to call it?" And he's like, completely tongue in cheek, like we're admitting, we're being upfront that this is not the greatest idea, and this is just fun. So it's owning stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
owning that our title history is complicated and has a lot of crooked turns to it, that sort of stuff. But for me, I think that's the important thing as I continue to try and bring forward our history, and Matthew Raywell doing the same, is it's important to recognize that the good times don't mean anything without the difficult
Yeah,
times.
absolutely.
And that's the
Absolutely.
story of TNA. The story of TNA is the underdog, the alternative since 2002 that
Mm.
has been a home for renaissance and reinvention and so many different opportunities for people that are either on the rise or on the back end of their career or legitimate stars that around the world. So that's what I love about this company. It's that diversity.
But we are now on AMC. We're recording this on Thursday night. We
Yes.
are going on AMC in a few hours. So obviously, by the time this goes out, that'll have aired, and we'll hopefully know a little bit more about what's going to be happening at No Surrender on February the 13th. But for people who tuning in on AMC, tuning in on the TNA Plus app, Sportsnet 360 in Canada, we just had a deal came out. I received an email today about the Philippines. We've got a place on the
Yes.
Philippines now, which is absolutely big news again. How big are deals like this right now for the roster? And it's a bit of a two-parter. If someone hasn't watched TNA in years, what would you say to get them off that fence to watching the current product?
That's a great question. How big are these deals to the roster? I don't know if the average member of our roster completely grasps how big those are, and it's not to say that they're ignorant or they're not paying attention to it, but so often it's just, hey, show up and wrestle your match and give your effort there, and your job is to be available, and your job is to be in the best shape possible and be creative and all those sorts of things. So it's just impressive to me how this new management team we've had over the last 14 months continues to put together deals like this. And it's something that we have been talking about within the company for years now, is like, hey, like finding these different opportunities. Hopefully our management team is discovering these new revenue streams that are just going to make our company bigger and bigger, allow us to do even more over time. What was the second part of your question? Forgive me.
Just about how we would maybe get people off the fence, people who've maybe not watched for a good few
Off
years.
the fence, yeah. I mean, like, that's the beauty of what we have is, like, for instance, a big reason for our success right now is the Hardys. Living legends. How do you not have interest in the Hardys after what they've been doing for, it's over 30 years, I think, at this point. Like, it's just incredible. I grew up as a fan of the Hardys. I got hooked because of the Triangle Ladder match. So if you're not tuning in for the Hardys, then tune in to see incredible rising stars like Mike Santana, Lang Lee, Danny Luna. There's so many people that deserve your time that are incredible wrestlers, and it's just an alternative. It's an alternative. There's so many different options out there. I understand it, and everybody's looking for more wrestling, but this is an extremely hardworking roster. There's a lot of talent that is developing. There's a lot of veterans like Moose, Brian Myers, and Eddie Edwards that are just incredible performers in the ring. Give TNA wrestling your time, and I don't believe you're going to be disappointed.
100%. And I quickly mentioned in the UK, I tend to watch it on the TNA Plus app because obviously I'm in the UK, but the back catalogue as well, that app is well worth your money because it's unbelievable. And the things you put on there, like Explosion and then the documentaries and things like that, it's just unbelievable to see what we've got. February 13th, we've got No Surrender coming in Nashville. I believe as of right now, obviously the Tonight Show will go on, but I don't think we've got anything confirmed. There's a few rumors out there, but we don't have anything confirmed. What can we hope to see at No Surrender? Or more importantly, what does Tom Hannifan want to see at No Surrender?
Well, I won't spoil anything because Impact hasn't aired yet tonight. Our suit, Daria Ray, has some announcements, I understand, regarding No Surrender. So I encourage people to stay tuned to our social and digital platforms and TNAWrestling.com for the announcements for what's going to go down at No Surrender. But for me, I'm thrilled about an easy commute because I live in Nashville. So that's going to be a breeze. Very excited about it. There's no better way to spend Valentine's Day weekend than with professional wrestling and with us here at TNA. And it's always cool. Like, this is a company that's been based here in Nashville, Tennessee for over 20 years. So getting to be in our home always feels special. I know it feels special for our production team that works their butts off on a regular basis to put this show on the air. So kind of rewarding them with like, hey, you can drive 10 minutes to work today. That's the best. That's always the nice thing, seeing people refreshed and excited. And I think to the point you're making before, kind of seeing the incremental growth that we've had just in the infancy of this AMC deal. It's like, okay, we got another opportunity at the plate. We deliver with No Surrender and then turn around and film some episodes of Impact for AMC on Valentine's Day. I'm excited to see the energy everybody brings to it because the opportunity is at hand.
And I'm going to end on one last question. I've taken up too much of your time, but I'm going to end with this. Where TNA has grown so much over the last couple of years, and it's absolutely just gone from strength to strength to strength. And like I say, I do give yourself and Matt a good chunk of the credit on that because your commentary has just kind of tipped us over the edge, I believe, as well as our talented roster, because we do have an amazing roster, and that absolutely is just like there's no taking away from any of that. You mentioned Danny Luna a second ago. I am just strap a rocket to that woman, please. But the last question I'll end is where do you see TNA heading over the next few years, and what role do you hope to play in that journey?
Oh man, I just hope I continue to have the opportunity to put lyrics to the music for years to come. I don't know when it would happen, but I would love to see this company live weekly.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's going to happen. Hopefully it's with a company hopefully it's with AMC. Hopefully it's with a tremendous partner. I'm just so grateful for this opportunity, but I just want to see us continue to grow. that's the most important thing. It was one of the first questions I asked Josh Matthews and Scott Demore years ago when I first signed on. Is the goal to get to a bigger network? Is the goal to do more live TV, even do live weekly television? And I think live weekly is the standard in professional wrestling, regardless of where you look. So for us to be able to be at that same level, I think would be fantastic. So we're getting there slowly but surely.
Absolutely.
So that's my goal. And selfishly, I want to see us go back to the United Kingdom as soon as humanly possible. I love visiting the United Kingdom.
Please.
I love calling wrestling in the United Kingdom. The fans are second to none. I miss it so much. So hopefully we get to do that soon.
Yeah, we had you a year or two ago, and it was absolutely amazing.
I know I didn't get to make the trip, unfortunately, but like, man, it looked like so much fun. Like, I would have killed to have been there for Osprey Edwards in person. That would have been awesome.
Oh man, don't even start. Don't even start. But Tom, I've been looking forward to chatting to you for a while now, and it's been absolutely brilliant. And thank you so much for taking your time to speak to me tonight.
I can't thank you enough. Honestly, this is probably the most flattery I've ever received in an interview. This is you said some extremely kind things. I can't take credit for any of them. It's just very, very nice.
You've done a fantastic job so far, and keep doing what you guys are doing. You and Matt are sterling on the mics, and yeah, strength to strength. I love seeing it.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.